Welcome back to the Go M.A.D podcast. I'm your host, Christopher, and I just want to take this moment once again just to give thanks to each and every one of you guys who have been listening to the podcast. And I encourage you guys to continue catching up with all the episodes. If there's an episode you haven't listened to this season or even in the past seasons, I really encourage you to go listen. It really is like a journey to see like how the podcast has improved. And I'm not trying to say this, in a conceited or cocky way, just to boast about myself. I myself, I go back all the way to the very first episode and I see how much change has happened. And part of that growth is because of you and all of your support that you have taken to help the podcast grow. So I just want to appreciate and really give thanks to you guys for that. You guys are awesome, and I encourage you, like I said, just keep on listening and DM me. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. I tried my best to reach out to every single person, to reach out to them and connect with them, because there is no success with just one person. I don't want to become anyone by myself. I want to go on this journey with you and make a difference with you. So in the spirit of thankfulness, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. I had like my own writer's block this week, and it's happened a lot so far throughout this whole podcast. And usually when that happens, I just kind of have to take a step back. So I had to take like an extra day. Usually I you all know I post on Wednesdays and it's on the dot, and I try really hard not to miss that mark, because I don't want to just be someone that is here and there with something. I want my episodes to be consistent. I want the podcast to be consistent. I want you to see, even though it might be a bad podcast, it might not be good at all, at least it's a consistent one. And that's something that I try to dedicate myself to. So I had to kind of like take a step back and take a little break. Not that long of a break, just a day, because I wanted to make sure, what I want you guys to understand is that I don't ever want to record any podcast episode if I don't think it's going to be the very best. And sometimes there might be a lot of pressure when I do that, because it's like, dang, that last episode was so good. Or I think about another episode, it's like, wow, that was such a good episode. And I had to tell myself, I can't dwell on past achievements, because if I just stay on those past achievements, that's going to be what's going to stop me from making something better. And that's a lesson that you guys can all take away with you as well, is don't celebrate too much or think too much about your past success. Sometimes yesterday's success is tomorrow's biggest obstacle. That's a quote that I heard by John Maxwell, and it's so true. And I had to keep that to my heart, because it's true that sometimes you accomplish something really, really great the day before, and then while you're attacking something new or going into something new, you keep that in the back of your mind. And I'm saying this because this is what has happened with me. You keep that in the back of your mind. It's like, man, but that was such a good thing that I did. It's like, how am I going to beat that? If you think about it too much, then you won't put that much effort into something new. You just got to keep going forward, moving forward, and creating new things and giving your all, just how you did in the past. So, and I want to make sure that I do the same thing, that I'm giving my all, I'm giving my best. And sometimes, there might be episodes that might be different, where I might have different topics. And at the end of the day, I want to be able to know for sure myself that I'm giving my best, that I'm putting my everything into what I'm doing. And if there's any moment where I'm doing that, or I don't feel like I gave my all, and it's like my latest episode, I will probably won't release it, because I want you guys to see the very best, and you guys deserve that much. So in speaking about thankfulness right now, as of this recording, as of this episode, we're a week away from Thanksgiving. I was just thinking about just different ways to be thankful, and obviously it's something that we do a lot every single year. We do, we gather around with our family, with our friends. Just last Saturday, I actually had my own my own Friendsgiving. I've been doing it now for about 4 years straight, that we've been doing Friendsgiving, different houses, different places, and I love doing it. Every year is different. There's always something different about each year. So we have these events where we gather together and we take a moment to give thanks. And I think it's just so important for us to take a moment to do that. it's so like I think about it, and I think it's so crazy how we take a time out of the whole year just to be thankful, just to be grateful. And for me as well, even with my parents, we take the effort as well to give thanks to God, obviously, because everything that has happened in the year, everything that has gone by, it was for a purpose. I use everything that has happened to kind of like take a moment to reflect and know, you know, wow, like a lot has happened. You just gotta be thankful that you made it to this moment and just give thanks. And there's so many different things to give thanks for. And I had to ask myself, what am I thankful for? I had to ask myself, what am I thankful for? How have I grown? And it took me to kind of like appreciate everything that has happened this year. And you guys have already known and got through this journey and testimony of all that has happened, especially with this podcast being, the most significant thing of this year. And me just thinking about me thinking about this, like me just going all the way back to what has happened in the beginning of the year when I first started this podcast. I was like, you know what? I want to listen to the first episode. So I started listening to my very first episode again, and I was like, woo-wee. Oh my gosh. Well, for starters, there was no video and the audio wasn't good at all. So something that, like I mentioned earlier, like it didn't matter at that point. Like I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted to get started. And just listening to that whole episode, I could feel the passion for myself. It was like it's like me in the future right now, just looking at my past self, starting something new and just being like, yeah, man, keep going. So just hearing that whole message, like I was listening to that first episode as if I was a listener, and I was enjoying that, and I was like, wow, man, this is awesome. And I was like proud of myself. It was such a weird experience. It was like me being someone else. And I was like, man, I'm proud of this guy. Just to see how throughout this whole year, how so much has happened. And obviously we are all aware of all that has happened this year with COVID, with civil unrest, with all that has been going on with the world, with our country. All things have been going, south, or a lot of wrong has been happening in the world, and also a lot of good has come out of this year. And I won't go too much into reflecting of this whole year, because the year is not over yet, and I do want to save some very fun things, interesting things that I have ready for next season, that I want to focus a lot on, that of reflecting of the year and preparing for the next one to come. So anyway, I just took some time to be thankful, and I want to ask that to you today. What are you thankful for? Like, think about this year. Think about from the very beginning up to right now. Think of everything that you have gone through in your passion, in your growth. If you have followed me on this journey, what have you been seeking out after, and how have you been growing in that? And just picture yourself, at the very beginning of this year, and what you have accomplished from then to right now. And I wanted to take this moment for us to think about that. To first start off thinking and asking ourselves, what are we thankful for? And how have we grown this whole year? And just being thankful for everything that has happened. Ask yourself, what has happened directly that has affected you directly this year? And think about those things. And know that you're alive and well today. Thank God. And you're able to listen to this. So you made it. You made it this far. So I know it might have been difficult. You might have gone through some difficult moments. You're probably still going through something difficult. The important thing is that you made it this far. So just let's go into a time where we can be grateful, where we can give thanks, and know like, wow, like this is awesome. I made it this far, and it gives you hope to what is to come. I was also just thinking about this and just thinking, how else I have grown. And obviously a big factor is that I wasn't alone this year. I had a lot of support, and obviously I give thanks to you guys already, like I've told you, and that there's been a lot of people that I have been surrounded by that have helped me as well. So I wanted to ask, who has helped you this season? I can just name a few people off the top of my head, that I had. Brian, who's a very close friend of mine, who helped me in the very beginning set up my video. And honestly, because of the exposure that I had with him, I was able to learn on my own how to edit, how to, record and stuff like that. And I give huge thanks to him because he really helped me get set up, and I'm super grateful for him. I'm thankful for my wife, obviously, who has been by my side every single day and has been helping me, and a lot everyone else who has been on my team, who has been on my side, who has been giving words of encouragement, and has been giving making effort to listen. It gives me so much hope and encouragement, and I appreciate everyone so much. And you guys have no idea how important it is to have those people by your side. I know maybe you might be listening, you might feel like you don't have that. Well, I may not know you directly, or maybe I do. I want you to know that I am encouraging you. I am here for you because, hey, I've been doing this whole podcast just to be there for you and tell you, hey, keep on going, keep moving forward. And I've been telling you that this whole year, to grow and make a difference in your life. Go out, make a difference in other people's lives. And I'm here for you. So don't feel alone if you feel like you don't have that person. And if you do, if you can't answer that question and you can think of someone who has helped you grow this season and this year, I want you to think about that person. And I want you to think about how they have helped you, how they have made the effort to, give you words of encouragement. How have they built you up? How have they taken out the moment to, even with a simple word, with a simple message, a simple sentence, or a simple call, a simple text. Those little moments really make a huge impact in our lives. So think about those people in your life, whether it's family or friends, that have been there for you, and ask yourself, how have they contributed to your growth today, up to right now, up to who you are now, who have you become in this year of 2020, of everything that has happened. And take out the time to reach out to them. This is such a beautiful time to be together. And a lot of the times, a lot of people they don't have people to go to. They don't have a family to, have a nice Thanksgiving dinner with. So take that into consideration and into your heart, to just be thankful for what you do have in your control, what you do have within your grasp, and make the best of it. And reach out to those who have been there for you and encourage them. And on the flip side of that, I want to ask you, because there have been a lot of things that have contributed to our growth, to those who have been helping us. So I want to ask, who have you been encouraging? Who have you helped build up? Who have you gone out of your way to teach something to someone, to share something with someone? Who have you felt like you have been the one who has contributed to someone's growth, who has helped someone grow? I can off the top of my head think of many people that I have taken out the time to grow, not because I wanted to receive anything in return or because I needed something. I made a huge effort, a huge goal of mine this year, to build a new habit, and up to right now, I have been doing well at it, and I show no signs of changing that. That usually, I don't know who can relate, but usually when someone sends you a text message, or let's say someone you don't really talk to that much, they send you a text message, it's usually just because they want to ask for something, right? And I can say that from personal experience from me, because when I was growing up as a teenager and stuff, I saw people around me, leadership in church and stuff like that they would text me, and then I knew immediately when they would text or call me is because they needed something or they wanted something. So in my head, I'm always thinking what they want. What do they want? So, and it's not a bad thing. Sometimes somebody might be in need and they need help, and that's okay. So I wanted to just simply change my mindset so that when I reach out to people, they don't think the same thing, and that I just reach out to them just to say hey and encourage them. And I don't know if those words can be something that they need to hear in that moment. So I just provide that encouragement to them, and sometimes there is something that I need from someone, and I made the habit, and those who know me, those who I have reached out to, I hope that I can testify to this. You can fact check me, and I hope I'm right on this. If I'm not, then reach out to me and fact check me so I can get better in it. As far as I know, as far as my knowledge goes, everyone that I have reached out to, even if I need something from them, I still try to have a conversation with them. I will still say hi. I will still say, hey, how's it going? What you been up to? How are you and your family, your friends, your relationships? I try to make the effort to actually be interested in their lives and be invested in their lives, and try to give as much as I can words of encouragement. So I do that. And then at the very end, if the conversation transitions there, then I'll ask for whatever I needed help with, or whatever I needed. And I do that at the very end, so that those people who are talking with, they know that I'm interested in a conversation with them and not just grabbing something from them. I want you to ask yourself, who have you been able to reach out to? Who have you been able to encourage and build up? Think of a few people who maybe you have built up this year, who you have encouraged, and keep going on. I encourage you guys to build that habit, to talk with others, talk with people who maybe you haven't even talk that much with, send a text message to them and just say hey, and just have a conversation with them, and be genuinely interested in their lives. Just genuinely invested in them, just to catch up, just to listen to them. And the reason why that's so important is that as you pour yourself out in the lives of others, maybe in return, obviously you don't have that mindset, and maybe in return in the future they will do the same for you. But pour yourself out in the lives of others so that the same skills that you have, the person that you are, the person that you represent, that can be planted in the seed in other people's lives. So that eventually, let's say one day you were to depart this earth and you're gone and you die and you don't ever come back, then there's a piece of you left in every single person that you have been able to impact. And that's why it's so important for us to not only make a difference in ourselves, but go out and make a difference in other people's lives. That every moment we get, for us to seek an opportunity to encourage someone, to pass on a part of us into someone else, so that if today was our last day, then we have something that lives, a piece of us that lives on in other people. So I want to leave that with you so that you can reflect on that. So if you feel like you have some people that you haven't really reached out to, I want you to list 3 people right now. If you're listening to this while you're driving, or if you're busy, right now while you're listening to this, I hope you're not distracted. If you are distracted, listen to this right now. What I want you to do is to think of 3 people. If you're able to list them down on your phone while you're listening to this, or if you're able to write it down, then I encourage you to do that. If not, then just think of 3 people right now. Think of 3 people who you felt like have been investing in you so much, who have invested so much in you and have encouraged you so much. Think of just 3 people who have done that for you. And make the effort today to reach out to each and every one of them and catch up with them, as I mentioned earlier, and have a conversation with them. Be genuinely interested and invested in their lives. And ask questions, ask tough questions. Ask, what have you been struggling with? Have you been struggling with anything lately? What has been the hardest obstacle that you have been going through? What has been the toughest thing that you've been going through so far? And ask those tough questions. Listen to those questions that I just said and use them to your advantage. And don't be afraid to have those conversations with those people who have invested so much in you, and ask those questions for them. And once, if they're able to share that with you, then the next step is for you to ask, how can you help them? What can you do to help them? And if they don't have the direct answer, then at least provide them with words of encouragement. Encourage them just as they have done with you. And maybe if they haven't done it with you, invest in them and share some moments to encourage them and build them up. And like I said, place a piece of you in someone else. And let the values that you have received and you have learned, let that pass on in someone else. So do whatever you need to do, whether if you want to send a text, or if it's someone that that's close to you and you want to meet up with them, like just say, hey, let's go for a coffee today. Just really quick, let's go grab a coffee somewhere nearby. It's like 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away. Take out that time today. Don't wait around tomorrow. Remember, yesterday's success is tomorrow's biggest obstacle. So don't wait to do tomorrow what you can do today. Take the time today, whether if you can take out 10 minutes, 30 minutes to meet with someone, go grab a quick coffee and just talk about that with them, do it. If not, send an easy text message, guys. You have no idea how easy it is to just grab your phone and send a text message to someone and just catch up with them and ask them those tough questions. And they might be like, yo, what's up with this person that's asking me all these weird questions? And trust me, let them see that you're genuinely interested in them and you just want to be there for them. And maybe they might come from an approach that it might be like, I don't need your help. That's fine. Just continue being interested in them and encourage them to keep moving forward and plant that seed in their lives so that they can move on. And if you guys never talk again, or, as life goes on, they can remember you just from those small interactions. All right. So I hope this episode has impacted you guys. I know it was a very short episode, or a shorter episode than usual. I wanted to simply get straight to the point and really just encourage you guys to be thankful and just think of everything that has happened this year and how you have grown. Be grateful to God for how far you have gotten, because obviously all the glory goes to Him always, to how much you have grown. And then think about all the people that God has used in your life to help contribute to your growth. Think about those people, and in return, the next thing is to give thanks to those people. Share your gratitude towards them for how much they have helped you. And then maybe there's other people that you have, or maybe it's those same exact people that you're grateful for. Talk with them. Have a conversation with them. That is your call to action today. So go out and do that and reach out to them and encourage them just as they have done with you. And if they haven't, then encourage them all the more and build them up. Let them go far and high that when they know you, when they hear from you, they know that they have no ceiling, no limits when they talk with you. Let that be your motto. So if you guys enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and share this video, share it on all the platforms in this season that we're being thankful. I think this is such an important episode that I had to receive. If this doesn't matter to you, that's fine. This is something that I needed to receive because I needed to think about these things and how grateful I needed to be and how thankful I need to pass on my information to other people. And if this has impacted you, guys can follow me on Instagram at Go M.A.D Official. You can follow my page at Chris Go M.A.D. And you can catch all of this stuff on YouTube. If you're interested in any of this equipment that I have, you guys already know where to find that link in the description. And if you want to support the podcast in any way at all, $1, $5, $10, whatever if it's in your heart, you guys can go on anchor.fm/GoMad, and there's a support section where you can click support. And anything really helps, honestly. I want this podcast to grow, and I want to continue growing with you guys. So as we continue to invest in ourselves and make the best of ourselves, live our best self so that we can go out and show others how to do the same, we can all go mad. I'll catch you guys in the next one.